Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. Just me today, so sorry in advance. Talking about the second and third days of the Ashes. So we didn't manage to get a podcast out yesterday, but I'm here to talk through it to, maybe offer some consolation for the Aussies, although there's not a whole lot to give, but mostly to gloat as an English fan. So things yesterday went incredibly well for England. We managed to get out the last couple of batters in. I think we got out. Who was it? Cummins and Hazelwood pretty quickly. Some great bowling from Chris Wokes and Jimmy Anderson actually, and went into bat, and things started off pretty shakily. With Ben Duckett going out. I think he only got one. But then the Crawley masterclass happened, and that was absolutely outstanding for England. It was violent. It was it wasn't chanceless by any means. He was getting a lot of edges. I'm sure it was like so painful to watch as an Australian fan because the amount of times that the inside edge whistled past his stumps, and he flashed it over the slip cord and things like that. It wasn't a chanceless 189, I think he got, but it was a very entertaining one. And I think England's faith in him has almost been repaid, because even though it might not be the nicest thing to watch, certainly from an Australian point of view, it is absolutely the most entertainment you're going to get watching it live. And the stroke play that he does do when it comes off is second to none. It is classical cricket shots with flair. Everything is timed so well. It was an outstanding innings, and honestly, really happy for him. He's had a great Ashes, and he said that I'm not going to be the most consistent player and stuff, and that's what Brendan McCullum said. But in this Ashes series, he's been one of the most consistent players. So hats off to him. Also, hats off go to Moeen Ali, who the 50 that he got batting at 3 was so valuable. Like I'm not sure I can overemphasize how important that was for England to set a base, because I was not optimistic about it. Moeen has been incredibly inconsistent as a test batter for a long time. He's the person that's had great potential, but I think because he was messed around so much, he was moved up and down the order. He never felt solid. He never felt trusted as a batter. If he had been, I think he could have been an incredible player. But this showed it. Some of the cover drives he hit were so nice. I mean, he's a left-hander, so it's almost a cheat for cover drives looking good anyway. But that was absolutely essential. Really important partnership. Dropped by Pat Cummins, but then I think it was the next ball that he faced. He actually hit a better hook shot that went straight to a flying Khawaja. So great catch from him. And then Root's just always good. So his knock of I think he got in the 80s potentially. That was just his standard Root, isn't it? He's just so good. And he played second fiddle to Crawley, so you almost didn't notice that it was happening. And then Brook and Stokes came in, played some nice shots, but then they dropped anchor. And that was very, un-bazball. It wasn't necessarily what the opposition were expecting. They were expecting a bit more of kind of an attack to come towards them. But no, they made them really work hard right up till the end of the day. And then they left Australia to sweat overnight on how on earth they're going to win, because they knew that they would have Harry Brook and Ben Stokes still in, two of the most explosive batters in the England lineup, with Johnny Bairstow still in the shed. And they played it so well, I thought. Harry Brook, he threw away his wicket, so did Stokes, really, but they were trying to kick on. And then Johnny Bairstow with the tail, it was brutal hitting. He was hitting everything so hard. And then he got stranded on 99, not out. But he did what he needed to do. In the post-match press conferences, he was very kind of, you could tell he'd been feeling it, all the criticism that he's been having. And it's absolutely important to recognise that under the context of his injury, it was outstanding. It is amazing that he's back. Like that, there were no guarantees he'd be able to walk properly again, let alone be an elite sportsman, playing in one of the highest competitions in world cricket. But so the fact that he's been amazing is great. However, it doesn't take away from the fact that his keeping hasn't been outstanding up to this point. He did take an incredible catch, and that was lovely to see. And he has definitely played a lot better this game, but I don't think it takes away from it. Like it's so impressive what he's done, but objectively, England could have done better if they'd had a slightly different composition, in my opinion. So then, yeah, looking at the Australian bowlers, they just had no idea what to do, did they? I think Pat Cummins on day 2 had the worst individual day that he's ever had. Like he went out first ball, just chipped it straight to cover. He then just bowled aimlessly. He looked so out of touch, and relatively slowly for him as well. And then none of the fielding positions seemed right. So he had an absolute stinker of a day. Day 3 was slightly better. Josh Hazlewood was definitely pick of the bowlers. He got a 5 for. I thought he bowled really well to the tail. And yeah, the way Root got out to Hazlewood, that was so unlucky for Root because it kept so low. But you've got to bowl it in the right areas to get that. So Hazlewood definitely pick of the bowlers. I think Australia are missing a spinner because Travis Head was taken to the cleaners. So moving on to Australia's batting innings then, because they had quite a big deficit, and I think it was over 250, maybe even over 270. I can't remember. But Australia didn't go well for you, did it? It was a rough start because Usman Khawaja nicks off to Wood, who he was just so fast. He is too fast for Australia. And if England had one more person like Wood, like if we had another person that could bowl 95 miles an hour, then that bowling lineup would be insane. And get well soon, Jofra, is basically the message. But that was so good from Wood. Little feather through to Bairstow. David Warner chopping on to Woakes, who's the other good bowler. And Wood and Woakes, it's the story of this test match and the last one. Best bowlers at the moment. Broad has been outstanding, but Woakes and Wood have just looked like the difference. That extra pace makes such a huge difference. And Steve Smith feathering it behind. Travis Head, he had no idea where the ball was. He just kind of defended. It looked like he was almost ducking out the way, but the ball hit his bat and popped straight to duck it. So Australia end the day 113 for 4. And this is where things get quite interesting because of the weather. It's not looking good. The weather is looking very, very bad. If the forecasts are right, there will be no play tomorrow. So England, I think, have done all they can. I don't think they declared too late, like some people might have suggested. I think they declared they didn't declare. I think they did the right thing by just carrying on batting, getting as many runs as they can, because you don't want to be batting 4th on this pitch. It's obviously deteriorating. Some are keeping low, some are popping up. So ideally, you get as many as you can, and then you put the pressure on Australia. That's what they've done, given themselves the most time they could. But it's just whether or not we'll get the play. Hopefully we do, because even as a biased English fan, obviously, but also as a neutral, we want this to go 2-2-all. We've heard from some of the fans as well, some of our subscribers, that we really want it to go 2-2 going into the last test, because it's been such a good Ashes. It's been absolutely outstanding. And, it would be such a shame for it to be rained out so Australia retain the Ashes. Either they should win it or England should win it. And I feel like that's what this Ashes deserves. It deserves to go down in the history books as the best Ashes series. So that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave in your comments any Cricket Nerds questions, because it's always nice to kind of interact with you guys. Hopefully it's not raining where you are tomorrow, so you can actually play a bit of cricket as well. Everybody loves a bit of Saturday cricket. And yeah, like and subscribe. We really do appreciate all the support that we get on the channel. You can follow our social medias and listen to the podcast as well. All the links to that are in the link tree down in the description. We've also got a subreddit, so join that. We're trying to get a bit more of a Cricket Nerds community going on there. So pop on, say hi, it'd be great. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.